Okay, now you understand the foundation that you have to have in place to make change management around sustainability successful. But let's talk in more detail about what are the specifics, what are the tactics that you're going to employ in terms of making change around sustainability. And I think the best way of doing this is actually by showing you a visual. Now, we call it the Hagen Wilhelm matrix. A good colleague of mine, Kevin Hagen, he and I were working on a way of how can we visually help people understand where an organization is around sustainability and what the dominant characteristics and drivers are at each step of change. Because we found that there were different models that were out there, but they just didn't really match up with how change management happens around sustainability. So together we created this chart. As you can see, there's a lot going on here. Your whole goal is to drive towards that phase 5, to that growth and value creation, where you see that you're going to take what are environmental negatives and social negatives, and you're going to go down and you're going to start creating positive environmental and social benefit. And as you do that, you realize that there's different types of change and different characteristics and different drivers that take place. So in phase 1, it's very individualistic. There's a hero, and oftentimes the mindset is, well, things are going to cost more, but we're going to do it because it's the right thing. In phase 2, you all of a sudden start, as that individual starts creating a department around them. They still are using a lot of personal influence, but it now becomes about incremental change, and we start having some investments where they're getting some return on investment. In that phase 3, where things start to really change, you go from a dedicated team to more process. How do you get this across your whole organization? And you start seeing your negatives go down and your positives go up, and the value creation really start to rise. So you start doing that, and you have to start putting in place processes and efficiencies and metrics and KPIs, and it really becomes about return on investment. In phase 4, which is where companies really start to realize value, is that they're seeing value and money and environmental benefit go up and the negatives go down. But it becomes about structure, and it becomes about top-line revenue as opposed to bottom-line cost savings. But you also enter in this new phase where it becomes about breakthrough change, which is more collaborative. It's more you have to go for game-changing ideas. For a lot of organizations that get to the point where, like in the outdoor retail space, a lot of people thought, well, you can't have a garment that is both waterproof and breathable until Gore-Tex was invented. And that was that breakthrough. And you're going to find that all the time with organizations that are doing change. They're going to say, well, we can't do the environmental thing and have it cost less until they can. And that happens in that phase 4. And everyone's trying to get to that phase 5, where sustainability is embedded throughout your entire business system and your value chain. It becomes systemic. And you all of a sudden start doing radical collaboration and find ways that you're creating value that you hadn't even thought of. These are the 5 phases of change management around sustainability. And the Hagen Wilhelm matrix, which you're seeing here right now, is the best visual concept and descriptor of how that takes place.